Hi, I'm Jeanne Fiorini. Thanks for being here at the Tarot Tips. Today we're going to talk about the Suit of Swords. This video is the sword overview. I would like to say thank you to everybody who's a part of the Tarot Tips. Currently, as I'm making this recording, we have over 32,000 views and about 450 subscribers worldwide. So I want to thank you for being part of this tarot community and this tarot learning opportunity. So as we begin talking about the swords, let me just reiterate the notion that all cards have a positive and a negative aspect, and that all of the suits in tarot have their misconceptions. The misconception about swords is that it's the bad suit. A lot of people really don't like the swords. It's going to be helpful to remember that the swords connects us, the suit of swords connects us to everything above the neck. It connects us to the element of air. So it has to do with how we speak, what we say, how we perceive the world, what our belief systems are, how we come to make our decisions, how we understand things or don't understand things. It is true that the suit of swords has the most problematic points within the 14 cards, or let's say at least within the first 10 cards, ace through 10. And this just reinforces the notion that when you think about it, when we use the mind too much or inappropriately or in a way that isn't called for in any given situation, it's going to cause us problems. So yes, the suit of swords is problematic. I can't even say it. But that's the nature of the element of air and the nature of the human mind, to process, sometimes to over-process, and sometimes to misunderstand. It also, can help us clarify, cut through, swords cut. So keep those things in mind as we move through the suit of swords today. So let's take a look at what's on the table. So we'll set them up like we have in the past, with 3 rows of, well, the first 3, the second 3, and then the last 4. Essentially, just to review, the first 3 cards talk about phase 1, the middle section 4, 5, 6 talk about phase 2, and then 7, 8, 9, 10 is the conclusion. We see this in all of the suits of the tarot. So going through, we can see sort of a stopping and a resting, a stopping and a temporary resolution, and then the final resolution in the 10. So let's go through some of these very generalized meanings. Ace of Swords, this is the sword of clarity. This is the sword of absolute knowing. This is when you have your hand on what's true and right and real for you. And also a willingness to assert it, whether you have to say it out loud or just know it inside of yourself. A real card of empowerment, how the mind can empower us when we have absolute truth in our hand. 2 of Swords. This is a card with a wide grayscale, you could say. The 2s are fraught with ambiguity, especially here in the swords. This card can be about a quiet mind, quieting the mind, having an inner focus. Crowley calls that one peace, the inner peace that happens when you close out the outer world. But this also could be about denial, somebody who's unwilling to see, somebody who does not want to look at something. So we see a wide range of possibilities there with that card. Card of Patience, 2 of Swords, just sitting with things as they are. 3 of Swords, that sitting with things as they are has reached its limit. And here we are faced with what I almost always like to call the fly in the ointment, the inevitable fatal flaw of something. 3 of Swords is disappointment, shattered illusions, but also at the same time the potential to heal an old hurt by looking at it a different way or trying to understand it in different terms. Needing to reassess a situation because as is, it is not going to work. The painful clarity when something isn't what you want. So after this reassessment, we begin the second phase, Four of Swords. This is a card of rest, a time of recuperation, finding peace amid turmoil. We can see that those three swords here are still present, but they're not poking on the person anymore, and they're resting on the sword of truth. Also, this card could indicate somebody who has decided to postpone a decision, deciding not to decide. Five of Swords, the key word here is the boundary card. Boundaries have been drawn. Sometimes that means taking an unpopular stand. We meet aggression or people who are contradicting us with defense rather than offense. Sometimes this indicates somebody who's standing stubbornly on their position. And this may be really a cause or the example of taking care of yourself by just saying back off for right now. Boundary card, Five of Swords. Six of Swords, you can see those people are in the middle of the lake or the river or the sea or whatever that is. So those people are in transition. Release of stress. The swords are pointed down. They're not being wielded. They're not going to hurt anybody right now. So this is a pause in a stressful situation, or perhaps moving beyond a stressful situation. It can indicate physical travel. And it also could indicate the postponement of a decision. Again, those swords being inactive. So that means that the mind is not processing right now. Seven of Swords, another card that has a wide range of interpretations on the positive and the negative. This is avoiding conflict, which sometimes means tact. Not saying what you really think. But also this can be a card of secret keeping and deceit, hiding the truth from somebody, maybe even from yourself, not wanting to face something. You can only hold those swords in your hand by the points for so long, so that would need to be a temporary solution, or else that's going to come back to bite you. Keeping things inside, holding your truth to yourself. Eight of Swords, I call this the most common card. Comes up for people all the time. It's about how our perceptions block our will. It's about how the mind creates little blocks for us, little prison cells for us that are somewhat comfortable but also a little bit hard to break out of. Fear of change. How belief systems sometimes keep us stuck. This card tells us what the problem is, and it tells us how to get out of the problem. It tells us that the problem is in how we are perceiving it, not necessarily in the situation itself. So try to think of it in a different way is the message of the Eight of Swords. Nine of Swords is a card of anxiety, of being overwhelmed, of having taken on more perhaps than a person can handle. There's, an obvious sense of sleeplessness and worry, overblown sense of doom. But the positive aspect of this card is to pay attention to what really is bothering you. See if you can exorcise it. See if you can figure out why something is bothering you so much. Again, all cards having a positive and negative side. Ten of Swords is when we get to give up. We get to release. This is not a card as nasty as it looks. The Ten of Swords really says you can let go, that something is resolved. Something is pointless. Little pun there. So if we are willing to let go of it, we can be released from having to figure something out. So a finality, a foregone conclusion there with the Ten of Swords. It's like the period at the end of a sentence, Ten of Swords, the end. Now we'll quickly take a look at the personality cards. Which, as we've seen before, stay true to the nature of the element. All these cards care about is the value of the mind and thinking and expression, the element of air. Page of Swords, the child of air. This is the rabble rouser. This is the quality of brainstorming, of wit, and also at the same time maybe somebody who speaks carelessly, somebody who just blurts stuff out, not always appropriate. Page of Swords. That's, the swords cut both ways. Immature thoughts, sometimes the seed of a great idea, and sometimes just plain hurtful. Knight of Swords is the communicator. This is somebody who's interested in new ideas, loves to learn, good at languages, expressing themselves in different venues. This person is somebody who's perhaps chatty, or the quality of communication. A lot of times, especially in the age we live in, that card can imply advertising, marketing, anything on the internet. Knight of Swords, talk about it. Bat ideas around. Queen of Swords, she's the advocate. This is a person with very high principles. She does not compromise. She does not negotiate. She has her own opinions, and that's that, and she's very comfortable with them. This is intelligence in service of a cause. She's emotionally remote, but she lives by her principles. She's very high-minded, astute, sometimes critical. The King of Swords is the enforcer, the person or the energy that upholds the laws and the values. I think of this one as the attorney and the accountant in the group. This is leadership and decision-making. He too is unyielding and unsympathetic. The rule is the rule, You got caught for speeding. I'm sorry if you're late for your appointment, but you were going 50 in a 30 zone. Here's your ticket. That's King of Swords energy. So remember when you're dealing with the swords that the swords cut both ways. It might clear the way and it might be hurtful. Lots to think about there with the swords. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time, where we will finish up this review of the suit cards with the pentacles.